Hello, and thank you so much for joining us this evening. My name is Sandra Dennis. I'm with Sant, and I'm super excited to be joined by phenomenal guests who've been doing amazing work on the ground in Haiti post the earthquake that that struck Haiti, Haiti's southern peninsula about a month ago. It seems so long ago because there's been so much going on, and we would be remiss if we didn't also acknowledge our brothers and sisters who are still trying to be processed through the border, some who've been deported, unfortunately, illegally. But there'll be more conversations about that actually on Thursday with the Black Collective, obviously on some Island TV and some other organizations as well. Catholic Legal Services will be talking about the crisis that we're seeing on the border as well. Before we get started, just want to give a brief history of, or context, set the context around this conversation. There were organizations that got together in South Florida to really ensure that there was a collective response to what we saw in Haiti post the earthquake. What would our response be as a community? What would it look like for us to support Haitian-led organizations on the ground in Haiti? And how would we ensure that we would help with our capacity, whether it be resources, whether it be manpower, woman power, communications, et cetera. We came together to ensure that we could, in the largest Haitian diaspora outside of Haiti, what would be our response to our brothers and sisters? So we definitely wanted to ensure that there was a report back to ensure that people were clear and aware where we are right now and actually what needs to continue to happen long term for a true recovery. I'm going to pause here and introduce our guest. This evening we have Dr. Gerda Nicholas, who is with Ayiti Community Trust. We have Mr. Jeff Lozama, Dodo Humanitarian Foundation, Leonie Hermanton, who's with Sant, Valencia Gunder, who's with the Smile Trust. We have Mrs. Marjorie Lozama, who's with HANA, Haitian American Nurses Association, Christina Francois, who's with the Black Collective, as well as, I am missing someone. Did I get us all covered? Yes. And Sandra Dennis, I'm with Sant, and we're just facilitating this conversation. Thank you all for joining us. And I'm going to actually go right into it, just to invite people to get into this conversation. So what was your response, your organization's response to the earthquake? What is your role? And can you really speak to that in terms of the gaps that your organization fills in this ecosystem? I'm actually going to start with Dr. Gerda with Ayiti Community Trust, and then we'll go to the other organizations as well.
Thank you so very much. Good evening, everyone. And thank you so much, Avancé Ensemble. Thank you, Santa, for leading this conversation with all of us this evening. Really appreciated the invitation to be amongst colleagues and friends here tonight as well, talking about something that really is important, I know, to all of us. And particularly as we also battling what was happening in Texas, being able to have this conversation about the earthquake is really also important as well. So thank you so much for that. In the interest of just making sure that I get through this, if you wouldn't mind, I'm just going to share very quickly a couple of slides just to kind of respond to the question that you're asking about what is it that we've done and who we are. Many people who are here knows Ayiti Community Trust is a community foundation, just like any other community foundation that you know, like the Miami Foundation, the Boston Foundation, and so forth. That is a grant-making foundation that that's built on a theory of change that is centered around a focus on development in the country that is linked to supporting and building grassroots organizations in the rural communities. That is our theory of change. We believe that Haiti, that development is possible, and we believe that it must center around decentralization, and it must center around the support of rural organizations in our section communale in the country. And that has been our work for the last couple of years. As I said, we're a grant-making foundation, so therefore, our focus is really to work with grassroots organizations for the most part. So I'm going to go through this. This is also on our website. The document is in there. It's the 1 month update that tells a little bit about what our mission and our vision is, and overall what makes Ayiti Community Trust different than other, in terms of unique in terms of the work that we are doing, because the focus is about driving resources to innovative, like I said, impactful rural grassroots communities throughout the country, and so forth. We do so with an endowment model, and that's what you see there, because the endowment model is an important mechanism, because it is the model that many other foundations are using, community foundation that is, and that allows us to ensure that funds that we receive are not being used immediately, but we're able to invest the fund and use it in perpetuity. So with that being said, all of you remember the earthquake a bit. We launched an earthquake relief fund as a part of our immediate response post the earthquake. As many of you know, I was in Haiti at the time. I was in the South at the time. That allows us to put forth a phases of some work that we are doing. And very quickly, I'll share with you how these phases come about. But right now, the work centers around 3 phases: our relief phase, our recovery phase, and our reconstruction phase. And so this begins with us doing an assessment of the rural communities. So I spent 2.5 weeks visiting the rural communities, particularly was interested in looking at ways that they were impacted, understanding the assets of the people in the communities, because Ayiti Community Trust is based on an asset framework, which means that we recognize the resources that we have in communities, but at the same time, we're very much aware of the challenges as well, but we want to tap into those resources. We wanted to take a look at the existing Haitian-led grassroots organizations in the country, in those particular rural communities, and also begin to understand the current capacity of those local grassroots organizations in terms of being able to implement the work. And so the document shares with you a little bit about what we saw in terms of our assessment of both the impact, the grassroots work in the country, as well as the assessment of the people in the larger community. So you will see that. All of that led us to a recognition that because of the massive impact for many of the grassroots organizations in the rural communities, they were not in a position to really gérer fund at that particular time, because they have to be able to get to the bank, right? To be able to, get to their bank account. Many of them didn't have their papers in place and so forth. So being able to really ensure that we could have a fiscal partner on the ground who can really manage the financial aspects of that was really is important. So we partnered with Association des Paysans de Value, which is an organization that specifically focuses on the rural communities, been around for 34 years. And so, and there's really a lot of reasons for thinking about capacity building of grassroots organizations, right, for the future. And so with all of that, we are focusing on 2 rural communities in the South. So one is in Nip called Toirac. The other one is in Lièvre, and it tells you a little bit about the organization that exists in those particular communities that we are specifically working with in those particular areas. We're very focused in our piece, because I oftentimes say, people who hear me talk about, so it really is important for us to ensure that we are concentrating our efforts so that we can accompany grassroots organizations for the long run, as opposed to really being all over the place and doing a little bit here and a little bit there. And that's just really our strategy as well. And so listening to the community, because the work comes from the community, because we have an asset framing model that speaks to the ability of people to think about what is it that they need for themselves. It was really clear that one of the first projects that they asked for was to really construct these provisional shelters. And by that, they mean not necessarily having the tent and the tarp, and they tell us all reasons for why that may not be the best thing for them, particularly in these communities that we are in. but really understanding, like really creating something that they could use for the long run. So a lot of our work was really related to supporting the building of these almost sort of like top-like that will allow people to get them out of the rain as quickly as possible. We supported the building of about 100 of those in Tuareg and 100 of those in Lièvre as well. And this gives you a little bit of some of the ideas of what was constructed. And then there's Jean-Philippe Aurélien, he's the director of the organization in Tuareg called, that gives you an opportunity to see some of the work that they're doing. And so right now, the next phase, we just finished up this first phase of the project. And at this particular moment, the organizations have met. They hosted a community meeting and they are talking about what is next for them. What's this next phase? What do they see as really being central to the work that they are doing? And as we continue to build our partnerships and leveraging some of the funds that we have to really think about sustainable construction, to really think about building, not just for a moment in time, but really thinking about how can we accompany those organizations to build in a much more durable fashion as well. So with that, I'll stop and say thank you so much for the opportunity to share.
Thank you so much for sharing the work that Ayiti Community Trust is doing. I think it's also, before we get into, I guess, the commentary, let's go to Jeff and Dodo.
Hi, good evening, Sandra. Thank you so much for convening this meeting this evening, just to talk about what we have done in Haiti since post earthquake. And as far as Dodo's work on the ground, as you all know, Dodo's been working in the South for the past 16 years at different capacity. What we've worked on is organizing the story drive that we've done in the past, and also the medical missions that we've done with in collaboration with HANA, Haitian American Nurses Association. In 2016, we were quite involved in the relief effort after the Hurricane Matthew, and provided just not only supplies to the areas that were affected, but also support through medical missions that we organized with Dodo, with HANA and and also with a lot of different organizations that we partnered with to provide the best service or the best help to the folks who were impacted by Hurricane Matthew. This earthquake, we're mobilized since the day after in getting our staff and our folks on the ground. We know the whole area of the of southern Haiti, the whole peninsula, and also the greater South, as we speak about, were impacted by the earthquake. But the work is a lot, so we decided to stay focused in two different areas. We decided our focus should be in Cavaillon. This is where we've been since 2005. This is where we've been providing our services, not only to kids in schools, but also to the community at large. So therefore, we, since day after the 15th of August, our staff was in every single rural section of Cavaillon, assessing the area, canvassing the area, and figure out the needs or the impact of the earthquake on families, on different institutions, on schools. And through our assessment in 5 different sections, communal section and subsections, we came up to about 1,300 families that were impacted in Cavaillon alone. That's with homes that were damaged, some of them completely demolished, but a lot of them mostly were just wall damages that to the homes and other structural damage. Through that, there were about 2,800 adults. And when we talked about the assessment, what we've done is have a complete, I would say, census of a number of adults and children that were impacted in the homes that we assessed. And over 4,000 children were impacted in the homes that were affected by the earthquake. So what we've done is, in the short run, just like everyone else in the emergency relief, we organize a lot of the distribution, and we partner with a lot of local organizations, the Rotary Club of Lekai, Reciprocal Ministries International, Hope for Haiti, and also the local grassroots organizations in Cavaillon, where we're able to help small rural sections in relief supplies and tarps. One of the best items that we're able to provide to the folks that were impacted is this water filtration system. I don't know if you guys have seen that. This water filtration system, to me, is a game changer. I was personally able to take part of a distribution when I went myself a week or so ago in a small little rural section called Brikou, where we distributed this water filtration system to 50 families. That water filtration system is one that can treat 5 gallons of water in less than 20 minutes. And it takes water in any form, as muddy as you can have it, as dirty as you can have it, and filtrate it into potable water. What's good about this product, and this is testimony we hear from the ground, from the folks on the ground, not just the drinking, the ability to now be able to drink good, clean water, but also it helps them with a lot of the threats that they had before with waterborne disease. And that alone is and I spoke to a couple of ladies who were able to give me first-hand testimony on how this is a great tool for them. One in particular who came, and while we're doing this whole training, because the water filtration system, you have to train them on how to use it, because there is a setup and there is also a cleanup system, a maintenance system that they need to learn. And this lady showed up to our session, and she sat there with her arm folded, and she was just waiting for a bucket. And while everybody's learning how to put it together, she said, "Oh, I know how to do it already. I don't need your help." So that compelled me to ask at the end, "Why are you here? Are you coming to grab a second one?" And she quietly told me, "Listen, I'm here because I had one and my house collapsed and I lost it. So therefore it was that good that and she walked a whole half an hour to come to our site to pick one up." So this is what we do in one this weekend in Montmorency, which is another site. We do another distribution of water filtration system. But more importantly, Dodo is committed to the long term, to the recovery efforts. On our team in Cavaillon, we have the only land surveyor in Cavaillon that helps us really in a deeper way. One is, we've always had issues with land title in Haiti. If you want to help these people in rebuild, or even if you want to help them in repair, you have to understand to know whether you are really helping someone who actually owns the property, right? So with him on our staff, that allows us to understand who owns and who doesn't own, and how we can best help the folks who are really impacted by this. So our short term is in the repair side. We've partnered with Opadel. Opadel is an organization out of Jacmel who has been doing this sort of, I would say, sustainable construction for a long time. And we've spoken with them. In fact, I just received their program or their plans for the repair just over the weekend. And we're going to discuss with them on how to start the program. And also, I've been on the phone and working with Habitat for Humanity. On Friday, I had a great conversation with the country director of Habitat in Lekai. I'm waiting for more information from them, which I should get this week, in figuring out how best to go about the new construction for those who are impacted. So I know this is something that is very important for me and Dr. Nicolai, and we talked about what Habitat has done over the years, and we knew from what Dr. Nicolai reported to us and what many people have told us, and also from their own account, most of the homes that they built, 99% of their homes sustained the earthquake. So we know Habitat is a very good partner when it comes to new construction. I've worked with them in the past. In fact, in 2004, when we had the major flood in Artibonite, I was one who helped in the relief effort in raising funds for them to do their project in Artibonite, where we raised $25,000. But at that time, But we have a good program that we are talking about. I've had 3 conversations with them in the past. Friday was a very solid conversation, and we expect to get more details from them this week that I can report to you guys, and also to get into the new construction for those who are impacted. So for now, this is the conversation not conversation, where we are as Dodo. The other area that we're looking at very seriously, and I was able to visit that during my last visit last weekend to Haiti, is Morancy. Morancy is a coastal village. That's where the side from my parents, from my mom's side, is from. And Morancy was they're having more than just the earthquake impacted them more than just what we've seen in terms of structural damage. The people in Morancy live on fishing, and listening to them to find out how the earthquake has impacted the deep ocean or the shores. And it's really, it opens my eyes. Never thought about that. They're going through a climate change. They don't even understand what climate change is, but they're going through it also. In the report that I have, in the simple term, is that in speaking to one of the fishermen, he told me that, the water has receded, much more now than ever done in the past. So that's creating a problem. But one of my biggest concern about areas like Morancy is the fact that until today, they're still fishing on a canoe. There's not even a single engine. They can't even go deep sea fishing. So right now, they've depleted all of the fish close to shore, so they're not able to catch as much anymore. So that brought to me the, again, what can we do for the fishing industry? Here are these people living, on beautiful ocean, deep water full of resources, and not even able to tap into those resources up until today. And one last thing that really touched my heart and affected me the most is, as I was in Morancy and we were taking some picture, I was using a drone, and the kids got all excited, first time seeing a drone. So I was able to get a good amount of kids to come and play around with me. But, I got to asking questions, not only to adults, that prompted me to start asking kids the basic questions. What's your name? What school do you go to? What grade are you in? They were all able to answer that question. But when I asked them, what do you want to do? What do you want to become in the future? And every kid was quiet. They turned their head away. They couldn't find that answer. And that hurts me. That hurt me quite a lot. And understand that these kids, they are uninspired. The only thing that they've seen their parents do is either fish or doing some agriculture, nothing more than that. So when it comes to recovery and work, the recovery is not only building home, the recovery has got to be much more holistic than what we're thinking about. There's a whole lot of work to do for us to do in Haiti. Not only, like I said, not only build home, we got to look into not only mental, but also looking at kids into their advancement, even at school, in what they're teaching our kids now. So I'll stop there and I'll join in later.
Thank you so much, Uncle Jeff. So we heard a few things, starting with Dr. Nicholas, in terms of immediate concerns for people living in Haiti in the southern region, to have some sort of shelter, something that they came up with, right? We heard from Uncle Jeff in terms of concerns around the fishing industry, but also making sure that there's a sustainable building when we rebuild in the South as well. I'm looking at the time, and we are committed to trying to get out by 8:30. So I'm going to ask people to shorten their responses so that we can also talk about what's next to do. Next, I'm going to go to Marjorie Lozama with Hannah, and then I'm going to come to Valencia Gunder with the Smile Trust, and then we'll hear from Sanla. Ms. Leone.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Centra, for having this forum here this evening. And again, my name is Marjorie. I'm with the Haitian American Nurses Association, and I'm the chair of International Affairs. and committee. And after the earthquake, what we've done as nurses, we mobilized our nurses, of course, and then we started receiving, I have my dog here, but receiving donations, medical supplies, and also financial donation. We had a town hall meeting with our membership to decide who was ready to be deployed to Haiti. But through it all, we realized that it's going to be very difficult due to the insecurity in Haiti and everything that was happening, even though we had Dr. Nicola down there giving us updates on a daily basis. Thank you, Dr. Nicola, for all your hard work and keeping us updated. Oh my goodness, that was wonderful. Our heart went out to you, and we pray for strength for you while you were out there. And so we joined multiple Zoom with different organizations just to stay updated and see how best we can help. But as far as nurses, what we do, we used to be on the ground after major disasters. For example, after the 2010, on the third day, our nurses were there helping and working with Project MediShare. But this time around, since it was a little bit more difficult for us to get there, and then we were brainstorming how can we best help, we decided to launch Support a Nurse, Save Many Lives. And we had multiple meetings with ANIAN, it's Association des Infirmières Licenciées d'Haïti. They're the HANA of Haiti, and then they have multiple chapters. And we met, we also the dean of different schools that we support. We met with the director, all that via Zoom, and then we have 2 nurses that went and did an assessment, and they also met with the director of the nursing department for the South, Madame Timogène. And we spoke with her and see how best we can. We have qualified nurses in Haiti that can respond to the need, the medical need of the people. So how can we use those nurses? And the dean of the School of Nursing, the public school of nursing in Lekai, she gave us, provided us some nurses. We already put 9 nurses to work, 3 with Gascov Clerget, and then 3 with and 6 others that are working with the Sant de Réconfort in Torbec. And we also got hired 15 nurses in Jérémy, so they can cover the NIP area. And we're looking at hiring 30 nurses in Lekai, so they can cover the other different communes in the area of, such as, Manish and Torbec and other places. We don't know exactly where they're going to be working, but their regular salary in Haiti for a nurse is $250 to $275. And then us, Hannah, we decided since we're going to be moving nurses out of their comfort zone, they're going to be working in different area. And we decided, it was suggested, and then after different assessment, that $400 a month, that will be the salary of the nurses. And then they will have a nurse supervisor, which we're paying $550 a month. And we're going to sustain that project for 3 months at least, and then continue on to see if we can sustain it and do fundraiser. And we had a Zoomathon that was really good, and we're going to continue doing those fundraising activities to support those nurses because they're very qualified and they can respond to the need of the population. And also what we've done is send medical supplies, and thank you, Valencia. I went and picked up, and she filled up my car with medical supplies. And then she also the organization purchased medication in Haiti, and then was able to send to, especially in Jérémy, where the nurses were in those remote area and they needed their own medical supplies to work. And we have a team leaving on Thursday because Anna, even though we're doing all that, but we feel we have to be on the ground as well. So we have a team of 23 leaving on Thursday, and then for, to also serve in the area of La Biche and other places that people are saying that they have not received medical help so far. But we know in Haiti, there's always a need for medical care. So it's not the disaster that caused it. It was already there. We've done multiple medical missions on a yearly basis, and then we're going to continue. But we shifted and supported our nurses, empowering those nurses and giving them the medical supplies they need to provide that care in Haiti. So as far as long-term, it's continue doing leadership symposium, conferences, and all this thing just to empower the nurses, because the mindset, they don't see nursing as a profession and kind of subservient. And then we need to shift that mindset that they can advocate for themselves and the patient, and then be at the table to make the decision. So that's our goal in HANA.
Thank you so much for sharing. And I think as we continue to discuss, we're looking at how can we from the diaspora truly support efforts on the ground and not come in with a savior complex, not coming with things that people didn't request from us, but what does it mean for us to come to reinforce the expertise that already exists? And super excited to have folks on the call, on the Zoom today that really believe in that we knew there were experts, nurses on the ground that with some support from us would be able to do the work, who are familiar with the communities, familiar with the culture, and also won't add to chaos, right, in a chaotic time. And then just not there for photo ops, right? But I'll stop there. Let's go to Valencia, Gunda, with the Smile Trust. Let's talk about the work that you all have been doing, mobilizing people and resources in Miami-Dade County.
Yes. Hey, everybody. I'm super happy to be here. I just want to start by saying I'm an ally. I'm not a Haitian, even though I say I'm honorary Haitian. We'll talk about that later. But I'm not from the country of Haiti. My family is not from there. My family is Bahamian. And
Poitiers, baby, Poitiers.
I'm learning, thank you. Generationally, my family is from Haiti. But I just learned that. Thank you, Leone, for teaching me my history, my family history. But I am an ally. I just always let folks know that I'm a Black woman and I support Black people. And I know in the past, especially with the Haitian diaspora here in South Florida, as it relates to African Americans, we're not always treated the best, right? And in my work, I've always been trying to make sure that I am a true ally, and I understand and respect Haitian leadership. And it is my job to respond to Haiti, just like the Haitian leadership. It is all Black people's job to support Haiti, that saved so many Black people in South Florida so long. And so that's why I stood up. I always would stand up for Haiti. I always tell Christina and Sandra, like, I'm always going to respond to Black people, right? I don't let language or borders stop me from doing that. And what is Miami without Haitians? Like, it'll be lame. We won't have no good food. And that's the thing. Don't let the Bahamian people hear me say that, but it's the truth. But yeah, so the Smile Trust, we heard the call, and we do disaster relief work and food insecurity work in the global South. So we respond to the Caribbean islands in the US South for these things. And it doesn't matter the shock that hits a community, but when we're called to action, we listen. And this time was a different curve for the Smile Trust because we usually collect food and water, and we was told not to send food and water. So I had to give my chops up, and I wanted to respect that. So all of the supplies that were sent into Haiti was the supplies that folks asked for, y'all. We did not send food. We did not send water. We did send medical supplies from all of our connects here. And we did send some cleaning supplies because we was asked to. And then we also supported vendors in Haiti, supplying the medicine for folks on the ground. There are hospitals and different mobile clinics that Hannah has been really good at connecting and building up there. And that's what we wanted to be in solidarity with. We took a step back on organizing. So, I mean, not organizing, on fundraising. So the Smile Trust only brought in 30,000, and that all went back out to community. And that's okay because the money didn't need to come to us, particularly. And I felt really good about uplifting Haitian-led organizations in this space, being a true ally and showing other folks how to be an ally to Haitian leadership and to Haiti in itself as a country. I think sometimes people forget that Haiti is a country that has a whole lot of infrastructure with history and experience, and we need to learn to honor that. And I felt that this time around, I did that. I had to learn. I respected that. All of the leaders answering the phone when I called, asking for translation, asking for guidance and things like that. And I know Hannah is sitting in the delegation, and Hannah should know that when they get there in the next 3 days, lots of shipping containers are coming in your name. So I need to be ready. And it has the medical supplies. And we didn't just get Band-Aids and alcohol swabs, y'all. I think people needed to know that people needed real stuff in Haiti. The hospitals requested through the pharmaceutical company oxygen tanks and casting materials and iodine and pain medicines. And honestly, y'all, sometimes a donation drive just won't get you those things. It just won't get you those things. And the need was great. And I'm honored that the Smile Trust was able to get some of those materials to the ground there. We are not a savior organization. None of my team has touched the soil of Haiti. I've never been to Haiti before in my life. The closest thing to Haiti is me going to Little Haiti that I've experienced. I'm gonna get to Haiti one day, but only when people are in a more sustainable space. I don't want to go there and take up any resources or any space. And that's another thing that I want Americans to understand, like just jumping on a flight, going there, or just cleaning out your basements to send to Haiti. These are real people. And honestly, they are our people. And if you won't feed it to your family and you don't want to wear it, why would you send it somewhere else for somebody else to put on their bodies? So that's the our grounding at the Smile Trust. We don't send anything. We don't send expired things. We don't send things that are rusted. If my grandma couldn't use it, I'm not sending it to grandma in Haiti. If my auntie won't eat it or drink it, I'm not sending that to Haiti. And that's our model on how we serve people in general. And we took those same things. So we were able to send 4 shipping containers that'll be landing to meet Hannah there. And we were able, like Ms. Marjorie spoke of, buy medicine directly in Haiti. We used a vendor in Haiti. We wanted to make sure that we were using vendors in Haiti because they do have pharmaceutical companies and they do have people with these things. And we were able to fill in orders. And I was honored to just be able to pay the invoice so y'all can continue to do the great work and support. And I have a lot of more questions as I'm doing some fundraising to help with disaster relief work. And I believe in long-term recovery. And outside of my disaster relief work, I do resiliency building. And I know that long-term resiliency work is needed in Haiti, and y'all have me in the long run. Please put me to work. Please let me know where y'all need me and to be in solidarity with you all. And I just found out that $275 for a nurse, that is US dollars for people who don't understand. I just had to ask the question too. And I wonder what it looks like for us to sponsor a nurse in Haiti. I know individuals who can do that. We spend $500 at a weekend at a party. So we can be able to help flank those things. So those are the asks. I am asking from the Haitian leadership to let me know what's next. I thought I did my due diligence by doing my part and tried to listen to leadership. And I have more in me. I am here to work. I am here to be in full support. I do want to make sure Haiti is okay in the deepest of the terms, because honestly, if we leave Haiti to continue in the cycle of harm, that means that I don't know about other Black Americans, but to me, that put a fear in my heart, right? That's what we cannot have. No Black person on this earth should be in harm and don't have what they need. So I'm here to help. I'm here to send resources, and y'all can use my brain as much as y'all want to, and my skill to organize. And thank y'all so much for having me in this space and allowing me to be in service to the Haitian diaspora during this time.
Thank you so much, V. Appreciate your solidarity and all the work that you've done to ensure that, one, this is what solidarity looks like, but also to show what it means to not only be dropped off in different places, but we know we all come from the same motherland. Let's go to Leonie and Sant, and then we're going to do a rapid round of questions and answers and try to get us out at some point.
Hi, good evening, bonsoir. And Valencia, your grandmother gave me your Haitian, you're a card carrying Haitian, okay? So, because she told me the story, okay? So, it's really a pleasure for me to sit here and listen. I come from the vantage point of having seen floods, earthquakes, hurricanes, multiple hurricanes, 4 hurricanes striking Haiti at the same time. and always chaotic responses. Always, people jumping on planes and going and refusing to listen, refusing to understand what the reality on the ground was and why it was so important to, yes, want to give, but want to give in a way that made sense and that did no harm to the communities that we wanted to help. And, Satla, in remaining mission aligned, did not raise money as an organization for Haiti. Our focus is the Haitian community in Miami-Dade County. We have enough of a hard time raising money to address the local needs of our community. And so we made the decision that it was best for us to support an organization, a partner, longtime partner, like the United Way, that has been raising funds for every single catastrophe that has struck Haiti. They've been our partners and they have listened to us. And that was at times the only opportunity to support Haitian-led organizations. Most people were reacting to, giving to this big NGO, that big NGO that claimed to have all the resources. And we knew from our experiences in Haiti, from our experiences following, I worked with grassroots organizations for at least 15 years in Haiti. I worked with grassroots organizations, peasant organizations, and I understood what their strategies of sustainable rebuilding was. Gypsy has also been involved with local organizations, schools, et cetera, et cetera. So we understood, again, that the best way to support recovery efforts was to invest smartly in organizations that were going to be there for the long run. We saw people parachuting down during the earthquake, coming in and just leaving immediately. Once something went wrong, everybody left. And who's left behind? Again, folks whose capacity wasn't built to continue the work. And so I am immensely proud of the fact that, one, we continue to work with the United Way, but also that we've done something that was unique in my experience. I can't say it was unique in the Haitian diaspora. I can't say it was unique in the Haitian community in Miami-Dade County. I can just say that it was unique in my experience that under the leadership of the Black collective of organizations like Avancé Ensemble, we came together on a platform to coordinate, to air out, sometimes to fight about strategies. It was unique, and it was not just a community building effort locally, not just a community building effort in Miami-Dade County in terms of people who usually don't even talk to one another, have to exchange ideas, exchange strategies, contacts, local contacts, and talk about changing people's attitudes. When I first spoke to Valencia, I thought, oh my God, she's going to be sending water. How do I tell Valencia not to send water to me? Because Valencia's like, I'm ready to send pallets of water. And so I am we are profoundly, impressed, humbled, touched at what the transformation that we've witnessed from many of our local partners, even Hannah, even Dodo, in changing their strategies. Because usually we would have the last hurricane, we had a plane full of people go to Haiti, and that was not investing smartly, I have to say. And what you guys are doing now is absolutely brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And it comes from experience. It comes from, really listening to people. And so, I think that what we've done here both in terms of, a satellite in terms of United Way. The United Way is making decisions right now about which organization to support. They've contacted several organizations in Haiti and some serving the Haitian community in, Haitian-led diaspora organizations as well. And so we are following through with this process. So again, there were some minuses, but I think I'm extremely, at 63, this is something that I didn't think was going to happen, that I was going to see, and I'm seeing it. And let me tell you guys, thank you for allowing me to experience this.
Thank you. Christina. Christina and the Black Collective really convened us, really held down and facilitated meetings. Christina, I'm gonna give you a minute or two because there's so much more to talk about and time is short. So I'm gonna go to you and then we're gonna do a rapid round of questions.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that like many folks that are in the diaspora, within hours, I had been on the phone with basically every person that I knew that could have possibly known someone in the South, and really quickly decided that we were not going to do another 2010 relief effort, in the sense of it being disjointed, in taking the breath to see what our capacity was, who was where, and in making sure from the very beginning that we included people who were in Haiti, whether they were diaspora that were in Haiti at the time, or people who lived in the region specifically, and folks that were in Port-au-Prince, because I, as somebody who had lived in Haiti, know there are so many resources in Haiti that we underestimate, especially folks who are raised outside of Haiti, forgetting that there are simple things like construction companies and engineers and agronomists, and every expert there is exists in Haiti. And so as we in South Florida, being home to the largest group of Haitians outside of Haiti, really, were itching to respond, wanting us to get on the same page and pause and actually listen to people who are in company and listen to people who are in NEEP and other areas, before deciding what to do. And so I really think that we stepped up to be that bridge, naively, but it worked out. So I guess I'm not gonna complain. But really naively, like, reached out to everybody and anybody and wanted to say that and grounding us in the principles of, the dignity and the leadership of the Haitian people and what exactly that means in practice. And this was an opportunity for us to live our values. And out of that was born so many of the amazing things that you've already heard. So I will relinquish my time. Did it in less than 2 minutes.
Thank you so much, Christina. So a few things I think we should name. I think earlier on, we knew that we wanted to be to control the narrative, right? That we know that Haitians are people, that there is a way to be, there's a way to show that, right, it's a time to support Haiti and we're people with dignity, we should be treated with respect. And also that there is intellect, right, in our communities. And what does it look like for us to propel the folks who we know can lead at the moment to the forefront and for us to support them? When we talk about dignified, leading with dignity when we're responding to these kinds of disasters, what did you see on the ground, Dr. Nicholas, Mr. Jeff Lozama, that really kind of like what was dignified and maybe some opportunities for us to learn that there are other ways to do things? Let's start with you, Dr. Nicholas.
Okay, thank you so much. And I want to just echo what Leonie just said also, and just a kudos to Black Collective, Christina, chapeau bas vraiment, just in terms of what this generation is pushing us to do. And so as you know, I say I follow all of you all everywhere and anywhere, because I think that you are definitely showing us how to do differently. And I really just appreciate Avancer Ensemble and the Black Collective and the work that all of you are pushing us to do. I do think that for me, have been on the ground, I agree with Leonie that we're doing better. And it was great to see that we actually did not just bring in food and distributing food and kits of things to people right away, right? Which was really important, I think, in the past. And I saw some of it, but not as much as I saw in the past, where people would be staying on long lines with a bowl in their hand waiting to be served a plate of food, which is not dignity, right? That's not a a human way to serve people in some ways. And so I think having the dignity to sort of like creating these kits for me was a really important point, right? So that instead of having people staying in long line as an example of what people did that was different, then being able to sort of pull together these kits and distributing them to people in their community versus sort of like this show that needed to happen, for the cameras and so forth. I thought that was really, really important. It was a really big step forward. I did witness the throwing of the tarp. I'm not gonna lie, the throwing of the tarp on the back of the car, the truck. I did see that, somebody doing that on the highway and throwing it to our people on the side of the road. Not the way to do that, right? So that's not dignifying way to do something like that. And I saw a couple of those examples. And just to say that I think we're getting this better. We're not 100% there, but we certainly did much better, I think, right, Jeff, than I think we've done in the past. And so my sense is that we'll continue to build from there, right, and progress even better.
And I'll take on from what Dr. Nicholas said. Serving with dignity for me is this 27-year-old that leads Dodo in the South. His name is Emmanuel Charles. He was at one time a volunteer for us, and he showed so much passion and he showed so much intellect in the way he helps Dodo. And I hired him as our local coordinator. And dignity for me is Emmanuel Charles going from subsection to subsection and meeting with leaders in this community, not imposing his will on them, not imposing Dodo's will on the people, and by speaking with them and finding out what exactly they need, what they, really having conversation with them. Dignity for me is Emmanuel picking these young people in the small communities that when I met them last week, and they tell me, c'est moi qui enquête les autres, c'est moi qui enquête les autres, c'est moi qui prend information, and they're saying that with such pride. And I'm just, as an organization, I just showed up. Basically, they did all the work. All I brought to them is the support. And frankly speaking, the biggest thing that happened for us this year, and Leonie, you are so right. You are so right in what you mentioned, is me not having to go to Haiti at all. And everything was done in a way I couldn't have done it myself. There is no way I could have done the work that was done for me in Haiti. And showing up in the small rural areas and hearing people talk about Dodo. And they didn't even know I was with Dodo. And it's because Emmanuel, my 27-year-old coordinator, who I'm so proud of the work that he's done the last year and the relationship that he's built with leaders in the community. Dodo built a computer lab to a school in Cavaillon in October of last year during the pandemic. And we went by to see the school, completely collapsed. There's nothing left. There is no more building. It's been completely demolished, right? And speaking with and Emmanuel was the person who coordinated all that. He built a lab himself. We only sent the computers and we showed up for the inauguration. And Emmanuel, I met with the principal of the school, Sir Lalouz, and in speaking with her, and again, with dignity, and I asked her, and she didn't want to give an interview. She didn't want to give an interview on camera. She just wanted to have a conversation with me. And at the end, I said, Sir Lalouz, tell me one thing you would like for me to do for you. If there is one thing I can take back to Miami in terms of help that we can bring to you, she was sharing with me that there are 938 kids that are registered for a school, for this school year. And she's got 1,000 opening for 1,000 kids altogether. I said, there's got to be one thing I can take back to Miami. What will be that one thing that you would need? She says, can you send me a group of psychologists to come and do some mental assessment with my kids. And trust me, when we talk about this group having resources, us connected together, on the spot, I called Dr. Nicola. On the spot, Dr. Nicola reached back to her. On the spot, Dr. Nicola is already putting a whole program for her with the Association of Psychologists in Haiti. And here we are with the school year, 1,000 kids may have the opportunity to go through a mental session where that would never happen in the past if we were to impose our will on them, if we weren't listening to them. This is where I'll stop.
Right, thank you
If
so
I may,
much.
Sandra,
Yes.
I just want to add that, this security issue was a blessing in disguise because it really forced us to not only treat people with dignity, but acknowledge, be more humble as members of the diaspora. So I would say that this experience has been a marriage of humility and dignity, because we've had to acknowledge that we are not the saviors, as Valencia says. We are not the saviors, that the solution doesn't lie with us. The solution is there. It just needs to be supported, amplified. The assets needs to be made stronger so that it can be spread and, in a bad word, metastasize in the community. But really, I think that it's both dignity and humility, because we have finally acknowledged that the answer is in Haiti. When Hannah doesn't do massive mission trips, but instead has to find a way to create sustainability by employing and building the capacity of nurses, it's huge.
I would add to
This is beyond huge. And part of it has to do with the humility of, we can't go, we're not the savior. There are no saviors, but there are servants that can be trained to serve. So.
Okay, Madam Paz, Leonie. I think what I wanted to add to that is I also think that we're for me, and I've been saying some, the question is always, what could my mother not do that I can do with the resources that she gave to me, with all that she poured into us? How do we take it up a notch in terms of what our contributions will be to our community? My mom could easily get a Pepe drive or food donations, water. They can do that stuff in their sleep. For the generation after them that they poured into, that they, educated, what is our valuable contributions? And to me, is recognizing that there's expertise in Haiti, that if resourced, it can go further than us. That the $400 that we would have spent on a plane ticket can pay for a nurse for a month. Imagine, right? And so times 20, times 50 people who would have gone, we have a month, 2 months, 3 months of nurses providing care for folks who've been wounded. To me, that is the upgrade. That is taking everything that's been poured into us and taking it up a notch when we think about Haiti. And thinking about it, not in just simple terms, but complexities. Because I think that's what they sent us to school for, right? This is what they poured into us. This is why people went before us and did the work so that we can build upon what's already been done. And I'm super excited about this conversation. And I'll say one more thing, and then we'll kind of try to wrap up with next steps. Where are we today? What needs to continue to happen is we knew that we had to control narrative. We know that these things happen in Haiti, and how will our community continue to come together, understanding what our roles are and what our agreements will be working together. And we agree that there has to be transparency, that for folks who think Haitian community not coming together to strategize and brainstorming, it is happening, and we invite you all to join, right? We invite you all, if you're going to donate and provide resources, these are the organizations that we know, that we trust, and we know have boots on the ground in Haiti, right? We know that the expertise is us, and I trust and believe in our leadership, right? These are the things that we hold true and are our shared agreements as we work together. So let's hear from everyone really quickly in less than 2 minutes. where are we in terms of the South, and what are our next steps? That's part 2. And the last thing is, how can people support you? So where are we? What did you see? Because our understanding is, while there were folks who unfortunately lost their lives, folks who are injured, the infrastructure in the south of Haiti took a hit, right? What is the plan? What are folks talking about as you all meet with leaders in those communities? How can people support you moving forward? And whoever wants to start.
I can start.
Go ahead, Christina.
I can start really quickly, just for folks who haven't been to Haiti to understand the scope of the issue. Imagine 4 states being impacted by an earthquake at once, and knowing not everywhere is impacted in the same way. And we're really talking about like a geological impact that, like, rebuilding, long-term recovery, the future development of Haiti is really a multi-layered project, right? Or a multi-layered task. And that's why there's the level of thoughtfulness on this call, because we know it's not about building a building. It's not about an immediate water supply right now. It's about, we had a conversation about like saltwater intrusion and cracked earth and crops no longer being able to be grown in a certain region. And, you know, the protection or the intrusion into a national park that has had such rich biodiversity. And we're talking about what has happened to the school year. Like, there's so much layering. And I just want to emphasize that everybody has their role to play, and everybody can support something that is nearest and dearest to them and leverage the skills that they have. But this is the long haul, not because Haiti is so complicated and we're tired and there's always something, but it's because it is a complex issue, even if, no matter where it happened. Just because of the nature of an earthquake on an island with a diverse ecology, right? And people happen to live on there, and those happen to be our people. And so I would say, as you're listening to these next steps, pause on the narrative that like Haiti is this unsolvable problem, and really listen to the ways in which people are stepping up with their expertise, knowing that this is really the beginning of the conversation, because those fault lines aren't going anywhere. There will be a next earthquake, there will be a next hurricane, there may be some other natural disaster or unnatural disaster. But these are the factors that we can't change. We can't change the 2 fault lines being there. Right, so I am complete.
Thank you, Christina. Dr. Gerda, are you ready?
Yes, well, so thank you. I think that one of the things when you said, well, what is happening now? I think for me, one of the lessons I learned, and one of the things that I think we all agreed on, and that is the biggest asset we have in the country is the people. And that is our biggest asset. And if we can amplify it and augment it and support that asset and shout it out, you know, as much as we can. And I say that because of exactly all the things that you just heard Jeff mention, that you heard Marjorie mention, and Leonie mention that when you're talking to the people on the ground, is that listening to them, they're very clear about what is it that they want. And so we have to listen. So even in the question of like what's next for the South, the answers to that question does not lie in us. The answers to that question lies on the asset that we have in the, you know, in the communities in the South, which is really, really is important. One of the things that I would say that you will see here, that is a testament, I think to who we are right now, and how Christina and the Santos of the world is pushing that sort of like shifting of that narrative, which is important. You know, Ayiti Community Trust is committed to this idea of building, not just building for building's sake, but we need to build because the next disaster is around the corner. And so we have to think about something that is going to be not just about building, but it's also about preparedness, right, as well, and how our communities are being an essential part for that. And so when it comes to that, Gerda won't be calling Habitat for Humanities because Jeff is talking to Habitat for Humanities. Habitat for Humanities should not get 500 Haitians calling about the same exact thing. And so
Jeff is already doing that work. And so when Jeff figures this one out, I'm gonna be sitting with Jeff. And then we're gonna bring Dodo over to the local grassroots organizations and said, this is how this is gonna be done in Cavaillon. This is how this looks like with Habitat and so forth. And then we're gonna replicate that because we know it works. And Jeff is the expert in this area. That's his lane. So if Jeff says, listen, we're building this way, we're following, in terms of our support for that. So to me, that's an example about ways that this idea about solidarity and unity becomes really, really crucial in the work ahead. That's the work we get a chance to do as folks on this line, is to make sure that we are not we're not duplicating efforts, but that we are connecting the dots and we are working together in a way that is about supporting and amplifying the resources that we have in these rural communities. I'm just in awe of our people in the way that they've been able to come together. Let me tell you, when you come into a rural community that has 800 people and they can sit together and they said, we are gonna decide who's gonna get a provisional space to get out of the rain. And very well, only 100 people will get it, but they came together and made that decision. And we're talking about solidarity. We're talking about unity. It exists in us. It is everywhere. And these are examples of how that is happening. And our job is to just amplify that, right, to the work that I think we're going to be doing as a collective. So thank you so much for the opportunity. I know we're out of time. Just wanted to say thank you so much for hosting this.
I got chills because what you just said reminded me of people taking canoes, people taking boats from different parts of Haiti to come with food, to come with supplies, because we know before anyone could touch down from the diaspora, Haitians were responding to each other. They're the ones who are going to pull each other out from debris. They're going to wrap each other. They're going to call out for each other. They're going to see where their friends and families and their voisins, their neighbors are. And so these are the people that we are. And it always gives me chills when I am reminded that what they say about us is not true. We do work in solidarity, right? And we saw it from people coming from the north, people coming from the central part of Haiti to come and support in Haiti. Who's next? Who's ready?
That's one thing that I saw in the earthquake. I saw folks coming from the Artibonite giving the commission to the truck and say and tell our people to go wait for it in Port-au-Prince, because Port-au-Prince usually sends the support. Now c'est nous-mêmes qui en charge. And and so I think that what this has also exemplified, that we are the Combit people. I think that we've overused that word Combit, and sometimes we glamorize it, not really understanding it at its core. And what this has demonstrated, this is something, like I said, I've worked in rural communities for about 6 years, and I always leave town in tears, not in tears of sadness, but in tears of just elation, just like, oh my God, this is real. This is the Combit spirit is real, and it's living, and it's alive and growing right there in the midst of all this corruption and et cetera, et cetera. And I think that what we've seen is the fact that we are indeed the Combit people, that collectivist core of our culture is alive and well and needs to be nurtured. One of the things moving forward, I have a little bias. So I'm going to talk about my little bias.
1 minute, Leonie, 1 minute.
Exactly, but I got to talk about my bias. The people who are not heard, except Jeff told us that he talked to some kids. And so my bias is education, is back to school. And I really am looking for a group of people in South Florida who really want to continue to support building or strengthening the capacity of schools, of teacher training programs, to give children that vision of the future in Haiti, to see themselves in Haiti when they grow up, because right now they don't. So we need to give children that capacity to project themselves as citizens of this country. And I am 200% in support and working on that with Haiti-based organizations. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leonie. Let's go to Uncle Jeff.
I think
Oh.
Dr. Nicola kind of wrap it up for all of us in her last intervention there. But there is one group that I was very impressed by, a group of young leaders in the South. The Rotary Club, and I'm just going to use them for example. They have the young leadership group called Rotaract. They're a group of 18-year-olds and older who just get together. It's a Rotary Club grooming young leaders. And guess what? We had this young, because there are different chapters in different areas of the country. We had Rotaract from Jacmel that came to Okai to support the Rotary Club, the Rotaract in Lekai. They came from Cape Haitian. They came from all over, and they all came to volunteer. The benevolent spirit of these young kids. I mean, we all try to, from what we're hearing, all the kidnapping, we're looking at young folks, and sometimes we tend to give up on them. No, we have young leaders in Haiti. If given opportunity to be groomed by the right people, they will do the right thing, and they will be true future leaders of Haiti. I'm a sucker for young leaders, and as you all know that. And I went to Haiti, and I was just blown by this young group. They've been volunteering with Dodo since day one. And this weekend, when Hannah shows up with Dodo for their medical mission in La Biche and also in Saint Louis du Sud, that group of young leaders will be there to support. So to me, I'm very, I would say, bullish on the future of Haiti. When I see young folks like that in circumstances as such, they're just giving themselves, volunteering their time, and doing without compensation. And this is what's amazing for me. And this is what I still today, I can't get over this.
Maybe 3 years ago, we met some young people who were connected to La Croix Rouge, the Haiti branch. Phenomenal young people. Yep. Could run circles around some of us, me, in the way that they were willing and committed. So I echo you, Jeff. The counter narrative is that while we see young people who are involved in gangs, we also know for everyone in gang, there are 2 or 3 or 5 who, are decent and want to contribute to their communities. And we should support them. Marjorie, and then Valencia.
Yes, we'll be quick. Well, thank you first, Sandra, for giving us this platform, because one thing that we really have to change the mindset, because our supporters, or many people are supporting because they don't see us on the ground. They think that we're not doing anything. And then we had this platform tonight to share what each organization is doing. So thank you so much, because we at work behind the scene. But we'll go this weekend, just not really to, we're going to be serving, but really to have the partnership, especially we have students from University des Infirmières de Caille, they're going to join us and work with us. And then we have lists of other students from 2 other universities that they're going to also join us. And then we can get to know and work with them and also empower them and really show them this is what we're doing. We want them to get involved and participate. Another thing that we have, it's through the 55 group of nurses that we hired, we're looking at forming a first responder team, and then giving them the proper training is something to happen, and then giving them the resources. We have discussed this with the Minister of Health and also MAV in the past, having a storage to have all medical supplies, things to respond to the need in case something happened in Haiti, so they don't have to wait on the international organization to help, but that was not done to my knowledge. But it's something that we're looking at doing, empower them and giving them the equipment they need to work, and pushing mental health nurse practitioner program in Haiti. I think there's only 1 school right now, So as much as we can support them and have the other school start this program, that's another way we're going to support. And Zoom allow us to mentor nurses. We partner with Zamila Santé Partners in Health with the hospital in Mirebalais. They lost a lot of nurses. They moved away due to the insecurities. A lot of them left and went to Canada. And now they're retraining nurses, new grads, and they're training, and they call on to us to help them. And then we can do that, through Zoom for now, until we can go and get a team to do more hands-on training. So this is what Hannah is looking, investing in our nurses, because we know they're well qualified. If you go to an area, the nurse is, doing deliveries, babies, they do everything, we limited here, and then you can see the type of training they get there to respond to the need of the underserved. So this is the program. This is the vision of Hannah for Haiti for now.
Thank you so much. And we're gonna take our final thoughts from Valencia before we wrap.
Mine is gonna be super, super quick. Next steps for the Smile Trust is to wait for our marching orders from Haitian leadership. We are committed to be in partnership as an ally moving forward. And also, I'm going to take on the mantle to shake up the rest of these Black Americans that's been sitting quiet and get them on the ball, okay? So that's my commitment to Haiti and to this Haitian leadership body. And thank y'all for having me.
Thank you so much. I want to leave folks with a question that I believe was posed on the Union Suite today about all things being, if given the opportunity and things were, let's say, there wasn't political instability, would folks, go live in Haiti? And the responses were, I'm ready right now, right? This is what the responses were on Union Suite. And we know that that is not just true for Haiti, but it is true for many of our Black countries who have been experiencing so much. And so I think we are in shared agreement that given the opportunity to lead and the space to lead and the resources to lead, the people in Haiti will, if the diaspora and when the diaspora is a response in a collective way, we're more impactful. And that is what we're committed to. And we hope that there will not be Lone Rangers in our community who think that they can do so much by dropping down water bottles, food that already exists in Haiti. Because there's food in Haiti. There's food in Haiti, right? We know that if we support the leadership on the ground, if we just support with our capacity and resources, that the result will be long-term sustainability. And that's what we're committed to. If you want to find any information about the organizations who are on the Zoom today, we will also drop that in the chat. We will also package this Zoom webinar and share it out to our partners as well for folks who have not been able to join. And we will list out all the information on how you can connect with the panelists and their organizations on the email as well. And so this will go further than the folks who are on the Zoom and the folks who are on the live. We'll make sure that it's spread within the diaspora, within the Black communities, to ensure that people know that we are serious, that there are experts, and that given the opportunity, people will show up in a meaningful way to support Haiti. Thank y'all so much. There's a lot going on. I would be remiss again. We will be talking about the crisis on the border on Thursday on Island TV and on the Haitian American Live. Lots of things will be covered. Uncle Jeff?
Can I show just one quick picture, please?
Absolutely. Let me give you some co-sharing. I'm sorry. Thank you, Christina. It will be on Wednesday. So see you all Island TV or on the Facebook Live on the Haitian American.
So who wouldn't want to live here?
My God.
This is Mongasi. It's
Go home.
Can speak 1,000 words, so this is it. I'll stop my screen sharing right now.
Thank you.
The
And
B2H
Valencia,
is real.
Valencia,
The
I can't wait to
B2H
take
is
you to
real.
Valencia.
Valencia, Uncle Jeff or Dr. Nicholas is going to take you. If you want to go to the north, I got your back.
I want to go to whatever part y'all take me.
Good night, everyone. Thank y'all so
Thank
much.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.